Yo, yo, yo. And as you can tell by the thumbnail and the title of this video, I am going to be doing the Smackdown Backlash review for Friday Night Smackdown that just happened technically last night, but for me, today, because it's on at 1 a.m. in the UK. It's very confusing for people that are outside of the UK and Europe, of course. But yeah, this was the last Smackdown before Backlash that is officially happening tonight. And again, like I said in my Backlash prediction video, I can't believe that I'm saying that we are watching another WWE PLE so soon after WrestleMania 41 night 1 and night 2 has just happened. Like, it's a bit crazy saying that we've got a PLE tonight, but yeah, officially, as this video goes out, because of course it's not going to go out after Backlash, we have got Backlash tonight, and it starts at midnight in the UK. If you didn't know that, at midnight in the UK, Backlash officially starts, but the countdown show starts at 10 p.m. in the UK. So for all my UK fans that click on this video, not my UK fans, for all the UK fans, sorry, that click on this video and didn't know what time Backlash started or the countdown show started, 10 p.m. for the countdown show, and then midnight Backlash officially starts in the UK. So yeah, guys, let's kick on with the review of last night's Smackdown, which was really good, actually. Like, really incredible go home show for Backlash. I really enjoyed it. And I say this every time, but I have reviewed it. Not reviewed it, I have reviewed it, reviewing it right now, but I have rated it, and I gave last night's Smackdown, I don't know if you can see that, I think you can see it, that looks a bit weird, I have given Smackdown last night a 5 out of 5 because I really enjoyed it, and I thought the two matches that are happening on Backlash on SmackDown were for the go home show were done fantastically. So obviously the fatal four way between Jacob, Damian, LA, and Drew, and then obviously the go home show match for their match at tonight's Backlash between Randy Orton and John Cena for the WWE Championship. So those two matches that are happening had brilliant go home show moments on last night's / today's SmackDown. So yeah, guys, let's kick on straight away with what moments on the SmackDown that I want to talk about. And the first moment that I'm going to be talking about on SmackDown is Ali Knight and Damian Priest versus Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. I thought the tag was decent. Like, I wouldn't say it was a great tag. It had its moments that made it a decent tag team match, but I wouldn't say it was the best tag team match of the night. But no, it was really enjoyable, and it was a nice way to kick off the show, because I actually wasn't expecting that tag team match to kick off the show. I actually thought that was going to be the main event. I thought that John Cena and Randy Orton would kick off the show, because John Cena seems to kick off Raw and SmackDowns every time he's on the show since his return. So I honestly thought that John Cena was going to kick off the show. So it was nice to not have Cena and Randy Orton kick it off. It was nice to have a match that kicked off the show like immediately. Like, we literally didn't get hardly anything backstage. It was immediately into a match, which I actually really quite liked and wasn't expecting, because as soon as SmackDown started, Damian Priest was walking into the gorilla, and I was just like, okay, this is a quick way to start SmackDown. We're just getting straight into it. But yeah, no, the match itself was a very good tag team match to kick off the show. So I'm not going to say that it wasn't a nice start to SmackDown, because it was. And then we had a little bit of turmoil between Damian Priest and LA Knight, where Damian Priest tagged himself in and the crowd booed him, which is not great, because obviously he's supposed to be a face character, but people are starting to like Drew more than Damian, so I don't know what's gonna happen there. And then as Damian was about to do his finisher, LA Knight tagged himself in. Those two got into it, and then Solo made them bump into each other by throwing himself onto Damian, pretty much. But LA Knight and Damian Priest managed to pick up the win, and then Solo. Did Solo attack them, or did Jacob just? I think Jacob. No, Jacob just came in and just absolutely. Yeah, he did. Jacob came in, attacked LA Knight, attacked Damian Priest. That was my bottle just pop in there. And if you heard that, what a Pepsi bottle in the bin and it just popped. I don't know why. But that completely threw me off. So if you heard that, it was a Pepsi bottle. Yeah. So Jacob took out LA Knight and Damian Priest stood tall, and then I was like, it's a bit weird that it's a bit weird that Drew McIntyre hasn't been on the show. Because I actually wasn't expecting him to turn up, and then as I said that, Jacob turned around and was claymored by Drew McIntyre, and then Drew McIntyre stood tall with the United States Championship. And if you saw my Backlash prediction video, you would know. I'm going to spoil it a bit here, so if you haven't watched that yet, I'll go and watch that first. But I did say that Drew McIntyre was one of my options to win the United States Championship because of a distraction by Solo Sikoa that caused Jacob to lose. But I did in the end predict that I do believe that Jacob Fatu is going to win, and then Solo Sikoa is going to put him in these high-end matches, and then eventually Jacob's going to turn on Solo because Jacob's going to come to realise that Solo's doing this on purpose, putting him in these crazy matches where he could potentially lose his title because he's not having just one-on-one matches, and then that's when Jacob turns on Solo, and then we get that match at SummerSlam for the United States Championship between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. But I did also say that Drew McIntyre could potentially win because of distraction, and then we just get a normal one-on-one match between Solo and Jacob without a title involved, and then Drew goes on to feud with LA and Damian Priest. So it could be right, but I wasn't expecting Drew to show up on the show, so that was a nice little surprise to have Drew stand tall. So yeah, that was the first thing that happened on Smackdown, and and then we had a Drew McIntyre interview with Byron Saxton, pretty much saying that that it's what word did he use? I don't think he didn't say piss take. I don't think that's what word he used. He said something anyway about the fact that Damien shouldn't even be in this match because Drew McIntyre won by disqualification. So it should just be a one-on-one match between him and Jacob Fatu. But because Solo got involved, they made it a fatal four-way because technically it ended in disqualification because of Solo first. It's not Damian Priest first, and in disqualification because of Solo first, technically. So that's why it's a fatal four-way. But Drew technically did won by disqualification, so it should technically be Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. So he was annoyed that Damian Priest is involved, and he pretty much said that Damian Priest isn't relevant without Drew McIntyre. And then he said that LA Knight shouldn't even be involved because LA Knight lost his championship, so he should go to the back of the line. It was a really, really good promo by Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre always cooks on the mic though, like always. He's so underrated. So underrated. So yeah, we got a nice little interview by Drew McIntyre, and he pretty much said that he was coming after Jacob Fatu because he's the best champion in WWE right now. And he's an animal, and yeah, and I would have been okay with just a one-on-one match, Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship at Backlash. I can't lie, like I'd actually be quite down for that. But I'm down for the Fatal 4-Way, of course, because both their matches at WrestleMania cook. So to have all four of them in the match is definitely a big thumbs up. But I wouldn't have minded if it was just Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu. But it's not. We're getting a Fatal 4-Way. But yeah, that's also what happened on last night's SmackDown. I wasn't obviously going to talk about this match. The only reason I am talking about this match, it was depending on who Zelina Vega's tag team partner was, and it turned out to be none other than Alexa Bliss. Everybody like called it, but I was like, it's going to be Meat Shin. But then I was like, in my head, when the crowd, when the camera panned to the crowd, I was like, is it going to be someone that's like returning or something? Because like they normally when they pan to the crowd, it's because it's someone that's not being in the WWE for a bit, so they're like returning or it's a debut. So I was like, oh my god, like who's it gonna be? And then when Alexa Bliss's music hit, I was definitely like totally okay with it, but I was expecting it to be somebody else. I don't know who, but I wasn't expecting it to be Alexa Bliss, just based on the simple fact that they panned to the crowd. But no, Alexa Bliss has returned technically again, because she hasn't been really on the show for quite a while now, since before Elimination Chamber. So it was nice to have Alexa Bliss back on the show. And then we got Charlotte doing an interview. By the way, the tag team match was okay. It wasn't great, but it was a low decent. But yeah, Charlotte then done an interview. I don't, like I said, I'm not. I've said this in previous reviews. I'm not reviewing every little thing that happened on Smackdown. So the Charlotte segment, if you're being like that didn't happen straight after the match, it's because I'm not actually like reviewing everything, because this video would be really, really long if I reviewed everything. So I'm just reviewing like the key points that I feel that I want to talk about. So just thought I'll make that clear before I carried on speaking about what I was speaking about. So yeah, Charlotte done a segment in the ring, and she was booed out of the building, and she dropped the mic and just didn't finish doing her promo. And then Jade Cargill's music hit. They had a little face off, and then we cut to a backstage segment with Charlotte Flair and Nick Aldis, and then Nick Aldis was like, "How about you just stop complaining?" And some other stuff that he said to her, and then she went to leave in her car, and then the door slammed on her face, and Alexa Bliss was stood there, and then she said to Charlotte Flair, "Let's chat." So I wonder what that's about. I think I have a slight clue, because obviously Becky Lynch is a heel right now, and she's going after Lara Vacaria, isn't she? Which is a new upcomer in WWE. As much as Nia Jax is not an upcomer, she's part of this group with Charlotte, Alexa, and Becky Lynch, because she's been in WWE around the same time as those three women have. I do feel that they're the veterans of the women's division, like Becky, especially Becky, Charlotte, and Alexa, that they're coming after Tiffany's title and Zelina Vega's title, because I believe that Alexa Bliss is going to be the one to dethrone Zelina, and then Charlotte Flair's most likely going to be the one to dethrone Tiffany, probably, maybe, or Jade Cargill would dethrone dethrone Tiffany down the line, and then Charlotte will dethrone Jade Cargill. But I can see them doing veterans of the women's division versus the newbies of the women's division at Evolution in July, because there is a rumoured all-women's Evolution happening in July, and that would be a tag team match to do between the veterans of the WWE women's division versus the newbies of the division. So we could get the likes of Tiffany, Zelina, Lara Vacaria, and a couple of others. Not quite sure who the two other people would be, versus a heel Nia Jax, a heel Charlotte Flair, a heel Alexa Bliss, and a heel Becky Lynch, and somebody else. Like, there's three more people. Not quite sure who those three people are yet, but I feel like they're going down that road, because the fact that Alexa wants to talk to Charlotte, and those two are like the veterans of the Smackdown women's division, and currently the titles are being held by the newbies of the women's division in Tiffany Stratton and Zelina Vega. I feel like they're going to come together to try and dethrone these newbies. So I think that's what was going down between Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, and I think that's what's going to come out of that. I could be wrong. It could just be that they want to tag team and win the tag team championships together to make the legacy of that tag team division come up a bit, or it's because they're gonna team together to try and dethrone Tiffany and Zelina Vega, because they're the veterans and they want the titles, because they feel that they deserve the titles, not these newbies. So that's what could be happening between Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. And then the next thing I want to talk about is obviously the Jade Cargill and Nia Jax match, because we had a number one contendership between those two, and the winner would go on to face Tiffany Stratton down the line, possibly next week on Smackdown or at Saturday Night Main Event, or maybe even Money in the Bank. it was a decent match. There was a moment in the match where Nia Jax was really struggling to pick up Jade when Jade had her leg around Nia's neck, and like behind her neck, and Nia Jax was taking ages to pick her up. It was really odd. So that was kind of a bit of a botch, blooper, however you want to look at it, moment. But no, the match was decent. It was a low 3. It wasn't great. Probably one of Nia Jax's worst matches, but Jade Cargill actually had a good showing, I feel, compared to some other matches that she's had previously. I feel like, considering she was in a match with Nia, who's not the greatest in the ring, has got better. I'm gonna give it to her. She has got better, but for some reason in that match, she just didn't show up. Like the War Games match that happened last year, Nia Jax was absolutely terrible. She just kept botching everything. She kind of done a similar thing in this match with Jade Cargill, where she just felt like she just didn't want to do anything. It was really, really odd, but the match was a very low decent. But I honestly thought that Jade Cargill was going to win, because obviously Nia Jax has already had an opportunity at the Women's Championship. So I was actually thinking that they were going to give it to Jade Cargill, and then Naomi was going to somehow make herself get involved, and then also Nia Jax was going to somehow make herself get involved, and we would have got like a fatal 4-way. Because like I've said before, I want Tiffany to defend her title in more than just a one-on-one match, because I do feel that she does defend her title a lot of times just a one-on-one, not in a multi-person match, and I really want to see how she can cope and how her character works being placed in a big match instead of just a one-on-one match. But we're just getting another one-on-one match between Nia Jax by the looks of it. But Nia Jax won by disqualification by Naomi, because Naomi came out of the ring, attacked Tiffany Stratton. Jade Cargill was about to get to Naomi, and then Nia Jax went from behind, elbowed her in the back of the neck, and then done her finisher move and won the number 1 contenders match. So unfortunately, like I said, we are unfortunately getting Nia Jax versus Tiffany Stratton for the Women's Championship again, even though we've had it a couple of times now, I think, or maybe just once, but I feel like we've had it quite a few times. Kind of annoying, but it is what it is, I guess. I'm hoping that Jade Cargill gets annoyed at the fact that Naomi cost her, that they somehow allow Jade Cargill to be involved, and then Naomi gets annoyed that Jade Cargill's got involved, and now they allow Naomi to get involved, and we get a fatal 4-way. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so that's what happened in number 1 contenders match, and then we had a fantastic match between the Street Profits and the new tag team on Smackdown, because they're still new, in Fraxium, in Nathan Frazier and Axiom. And this was the tag team match of the night. Like, this was absolutely fantastic. Like, a brilliant tag team match. There's not one thing I can fault any of them on in this tag team match. I was a bit nervous because obviously of what happened between Pretty Deadly and Fraxium last week, but luckily none of that happened in this match. But no, yeah, a really good tag team match. Very enjoyable. I'm pretty sure I gave this tag team match a low 4 out of 5. I wouldn't say it was a high 4 out of 5, but it was definitely not a 3, because it was better than the other tag team matches that happened on this SmackDown. So yeah, no, really good match. But what I will say is we did have a lot of tag team matches. We had obviously Jake Fatu and Solo Sikoa versus Damian Priest and LA Knight. We also had Fraxium versus the Street Profits. We also had Andrade and Ray Phoenix versus Berto and Angel. We also had the Street Profits. Oh no, I said the Street Profits. We had another match. Who was that other match? I swear we had 4 tag team matches. Maybe we had 3 tag team matches. I feel like we had 4. I feel like I'm completely missing one. Because we also had Carmelo Hayes versus Aleister Black. Oh, we had Alexa Bliss and Zelina Vega versus Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. So, and then we had obviously the Carmelo Hayes versus Aleister Black match. So yeah, there were the 5 matches on the show. Yeah. There might have been one more match, but I'm pretty sure we had those 5 matches. So we had 4 tag team matches on this SmackDown. And what I will say is, look at the SmackDown tag team division. We had the Street Profits, Fraxium, Los Garza. We had DIY, Motor City Machine Guns. Was that 5 tag teams on the show? I think that was 5 tag teams on the show, I think. Or am I missing one? Street Profits, Fraxium, Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, and Los Garza. So yeah. We had 5 tag teams shown throughout this 3-hour SmackDown. We had 5 tag teams shown, and 3 of the tag teams had a match. No. Oh no, yeah, 3 of the tag teams, because DIY and Motion Machine Guns didn't have a match. 3 of the 5 tag teams that were shown on this week's SmackDown had a match, and 2 of them were also shown on this SmackDown. It just goes to show how good the SmackDown tag team division is compared to Raw. I can't even name 5 tag teams on Raw, and it's just crazy to me how they're building this SmackDown tag team division up so good that we had 5 different tag teams shown on this week's SmackDown, but yet Raw, we're constantly getting shown the same tag team all the time in the New Day, War Raiders, and the Creed Brothers, and Alpha Academy. That's it. And Alpha Academy don't get tag team matches, they get one-on-one matches. The Creed Brothers barely shown on the show. The New Day are constantly just doing promos and constantly getting opportunities, and so are the War Raiders. Like, what is Triple H, TKO, the creative team, whoever's involved in the creative team, what are they doing? Like, why are they building this SmackDown division to be absolutely brilliant and fantastic, but yet the Raw division, which is the A show compared to SmackDown, has pretty much 3 tag teams that are on the show, and they're not even sometimes even on the show, but yet SmackDown every single week we have at least 2 tag teams being shown on the show. It's crazy to me because the SmackDown division is so good, and the Raw division could be literally the same or similar to what the SmackDown division is doing right now, but we just don't get that on Raw, and I just don't understand it, because it was crazy for me that we've got 5 different tag teams shown on last night's SmackDown, but yet Raw struggled to even show us 2. It's crazy, but like, so good. Like, it's good that SmackDown are getting that, but it's just annoying that we're not getting that same situation happening on Raw. So they need to up their tag team division on Raw, like they really, really do. It's just so frustrating. So yeah, I just wanted to speak about that because I just found it so crazy that we had 3 different tag teams showing off their talent, and then we had 2 tag teams that were just doing backstage promo segments still being involved on the show. It's just crazy to me. But yeah, the last segment that happened on this week's SmackDown was the segment between John Cena and Randy Orton. Obviously John Cena just came out to say that he's the last real champion. This is the last time that we're ever going to see this match between him and Randy Orton. And he said something about and then he added on hustle, and then he said something else, loyalty, and then hustle, and then he said something else, added on respect at the end, and then said that Randy Orton doesn't have any of those qualities, and this is Randy Orton's last opportunity tomorrow, and his legacy, like, is gone pretty much after he loses to John Cena tomorrow. And yeah, and then some guy with tattoos and creeped up from behind, and the crowd did think at first that it was Randy Orton, and then I think they realised, hang on a minute, like, that is definitely not Randy Orton. The height difference, the size in the guy, I was like, yeah, that immediately I knew that was not Randy Orton, because I was just like, he is very tiny and very small, so I was like, that's definitely not Randy Orton. But it was nice for John Cena to happen, because I wasn't expecting that. I really wasn't expecting that, because John Cena did say that in his promo that Randy Orton wasn't at the show, so I thought they were just gonna try and flag us that this was Randy Orton that got attitude adjustment. But obviously everybody knew that wasn't Randy Orton. The crowd kind of, like I said, kind of knew because they just saw the back of him. But I knew immediately that was not Randy Orton. And then obviously, yeah, he done an attitude adjustment to this random person that everybody's trying to figure out who it is. And then John Cena turned back around, held his championship up in the air, and then Randy Orton slithering like the snake, well, like the Viper that he is, and then RKO John Cena for the third time in a row, I think. Third time in a row. So yeah, and that is how we ended SmackDown, with Randy Orton holding up the championship again, which is not good because they've literally done the exact same thing with Cody Rhodes, where Cody Rhodes held the championship up 3 times because he crossrode John Cena 3 times, and then obviously Cody Rhodes lost at WrestleMania. And now they've done the same thing again, but this time Randy Orton is the one that stood tall 3 times in a row, or has stood tall 3 times. I don't think it was 3 times in a row, but has stood tall 3 times. And John Cena stood tall none, ever since they started this rivalry between him and Randy Orton. So it definitely is confirming to me that John Cena's definitely winning tonight. I could be wrong. Like, they might have done this on purpose, because obviously Cody Rhodes stood tall 3 times and lost. Randy Orton stood tall 3 times, and now we're all probably thinking, yeah, Randy Orton's definitely going to lose, but they might turn it on us and be, actually, Randy Orton stood tall 3 times, he's winning tonight. But I don't know, I guess we will have to wait and see what happens tonight on Backlash, because like I said, it's Backlash tonight, and I literally cannot believe that it's actually happening tonight. But yeah, guys, that was my SmackDown review for today/last night's SmackDown. I hope you guys did enjoy this review. Let me know in the comment section down below what you give this week's SmackDown. Are you giving it a 1 out of 5, a 2 out of 5, a 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, or like I have, a 5 out of 5? And yeah, I will be doing a reaction videos tonight for, I'm not sure it'll be for every match. I mean, it probably will be, because there's only 5 matches happening on the show. So I probably will do a reaction to every match, possibly. I don't know, I'm not too sure yet. I'll figure that out when Backlash happens tonight. But I definitely will be doing a reaction video to the John Cena and Randy Orton match, of course. But the other matches I'm not 100% sure on yet. But there will be some sort of reaction videos coming out tonight, technically. And then I'll also be doing my Backlash review tomorrow. And I have a video coming out on Monday, which is a t-shirt haul, WWE t-shirt haul. And then on Tuesday, the Raw review. So yeah, there is a lot of videos coming out in the next week or so. So look forward to those. But anyways, guys, if you did enjoy this, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And again, make sure to comment in the comment section down below your ratings for this week's SmackDown. And I'll see you guys in the Backlash reaction videos tonight. And yeah, this has been Charlie, and I'll see you next time. Peace.